Welcome to my channel. My name is Angela. I'm so excited to start this journey with you. I am a pre-nursing student and this is my first video on YouTube. I decided a couple weeks ago that I wanted to start making these just to really document my journey and to help as many people as possible. I know it's a very stressful journey, and really seeing how other people are going through their journey and how they're doing it has really kept pushing me, and I really wanted to help people in the same way. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, and comment any future videos that you would like to see. I will reply to every comment, and I just really want to help people. It's not even about the subscribers, it's about helping people. So if I only have one subscriber but they find my tips or anything helpful, then that means everything to me. So as you can see from the title, this is a study for the ATI TEAS. I decided to make this my first video because I'm studying for the ATI TEAS right now. It is summer 2020, and so I'm taking my TEAS test either in late July or August. And so I figured, what a better time than, COVID happening and classes being out right now, than to sit down, study for this test, and get the best score possible. This test is obviously very important for getting into nursing school, and so I want to do as best as I can. And right now I'm not working, so it was a better time. And I thought this would be a really good idea too for motivating other people to study, because I know it's hard with COVID and it being summer and everything. So if this helps you, I really hope it does. So I'm just going to get right into the video. I wanted to explain kind of what the ATI TEAS was. So, the ATI TEAS is let me see, I have the book right next to me. The Test of Essential Academic Skills. It's a nursing entry exam. Basically your score decides whether you get into nursing school or not. There's another test called the HESI that other people take. I'm just taking the ATI TEAS because for the schools that I'm applying to, that's the test that you need to take. So later in the video, I'll explain more about it and how I'm going to study and stuff. And I also have sticky notes right here, so if you see me looking over a bit, it's just because I'm reading through it. This test does not define you. And so I just wanted to get that out there so that you don't feel pressured or anything. And also, before I get started in this video, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll put it somewhere down here, and it'll also be in under the description bar. Sorry if this first video is super awkward. This is my first time doing this, and I'm kind of nervous. But I would really like to keep doing this. So if you have any suggestions on future videos or anything that I can improve, just feel free and write it down below. Please be kind. But let's just go ahead and get into the video. So what I decided to do is I wrote down my tips and everything that I'm going to be doing for the next, 2 to 3 months over the summer to really get the best score that I can get. So you can follow along the same schedule that I'm doing if you want. Don't feel pressured like you have to. I'm doing this because this is what I feel is going to work for me. I know everyone's different, so I'm just putting that out there. So what I'm doing is I'm studying 5 days a week, and each day I'm studying for 2 hours. So feel free to do that. Like I said, you don't have to. And then I just wanted to take some time and talk about tips on how to stay motivated while you're doing this and how to get the best score possible. I wrote them all down on a list, and so hopefully you guys find it helpful. So tip number 1 that I found helpful, I wanted to say before I started, I've been doing this routine for about a month now, and I've been switching things around, and before I started filming, I want it to really like figure out what works for me so that I can try and help you guys as best as I can. So into the tips. Tip number 1, do it early in the day. I figure this helps me because, you wake up, you get it over with, and then it's done, and then you have the rest of your day to do all the summer stuff that you want to do. I know it can be hard to focus during the summer because all you want to do is go outside, go swimming, hang out with friends. I totally get it. So if you just get up early and you do it, then you're done. Tip number 2 is follow a schedule. So I already told you guys what my schedule was, but you don't have to follow me. Do a schedule that works for you. So that could be early in the day, at night, 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever you think is working for you, and how long you have to do it. So obviously right now I have 3 months to do it. But if you have, let's say 6, you don't obviously have to do it as much as I'm doing it. But it's completely up to you. But make sure to follow a schedule and plan. This is one of the biggest things that's worked for me. Every night before I go to bed, I write down what I'm going to do, what time I'm going to wake up, what time I'm finished, everything like that. It really helps to plan things out and just be able to, after you're done it, cross it off. I know that's always the best feeling for me. So I hope you like that tip. Tip number 3 is get a snack or some type of drink or anything you like for motivation. What I always do is I either get a protein bar or a protein shake or just a little snack, something like that to keep you motivated while you're working. What I find is it's easier to keep going when I'm just shoving something in my mouth or something like that. And I know it doesn't sound healthy, but even having a water next to me just to take a drink out of really, really helps. Tip number 4, get ready. So I find that I'm most productive and everything when I'm out of bed, dressed, makeup on or not, hair done. Just motivate yourself to actually do it. If you crawl out of bed and start doing it, you're just going to be exhausted and you're not going to want to actually do it. So what I find very helpful is actually getting up, doing my makeup, doing my hair, getting cute clothes on, stuff like that. Because just being in your PJs or something can actually make you just want to crawl back in bed, and I totally understand. So that's why I really wanted to make sure I put that tip in there. Tip number 5, do it in a quiet room with no distractions, or with jazz music or some type of meditation sound in the background. This has really, really helped me. It keeps my mind focused, and it just really helps you just stay on task for those 2 hours. Set a timer is tip number, okay, I lost my track with tips we're on, but keeping a timer really helps me because if I'm ever feeling unmotivated or I just want to stop, I look down and I'm okay, only an hour left or only 45 minutes left. And feel free to take breaks. Don't feel like you have to spend those full 2 hours doing it. You can definitely get a little break in there, even if it's just 30 seconds or a minute. Anything that can help you stay in your mindset can help. So feel free to do what works for you. Another thing I find helpful is writing down major topics that you specifically need to work on. So what I do is when I'm reading, I highlight everything that I think I need to work on and that's important. And then everything that's major, I write it down. I'll show you everything on how I've organized my notes and everything just so you guys can see, but I'll get back to that one later. When you get to the actual studying portion of the ATI TEAS, and what I mean by studying portion is, so there's going to be parts where you're just reading the book and you're just going through and you're writing down stuff that you think you need to know. But then there's other parts where you're actually going to be studying and retaining the information. When you get to that part, my number 1 tip, especially for the anatomy section, is use a whiteboard. As you can see right behind me, I have my whiteboard. It's bigger than that, but it's like pushed back against the wall so you can't see it fully. But I find this, I already took anatomy in college, so I kind of already know the information, but what I find helpful is just writing everything down. It's going to really get it into your head, and it's really, really going to help. I do that during the school year too, so it's not just for the TEAS, and so the whiteboard is just so helpful to have all the time. So really just try and use that and keep it around. Another big tip is a no-brainer, but I just wanted to put it in there. Do practice questions. If you just go through and read the questions, well, not what I wanted to say. If you just go through and read the information, but you're not applying the information, it's not going to help you. It's just not. You need to actually apply it, and the test questions aren't going to just be like flat out like, oh, where's this on the body? It's going to be in depth. It's going to be application questions. It's going to want you to actually be able to know the information, and it's going to be hard. So make sure you're doing plenty of practice questions. YouTube videos. It's a great way, and especially if you're struggling with the anatomy section, which, you know, I think anatomy is the big section that everyone worries about. There's YouTube videos. I forget what they're called, but I will link it down below to help anybody. They're all in anatomy systems, a series of videos, and you can literally go through all the videos and see all of the systems. So it's really, really helpful. The last big tip is to focus on sections with the most questions. So I'm just going to show you this right now. So this is the book I'm using. It's the ATI Secrets. I just decided to use this book because I did a bunch of research on books I wanted to use that were best, and this is the one that I saw occurring the most, so this is just the one I picked up. There's always good things and bad things about books, so don't feel free that you have to use this book. I personally really like this book so far, but everyone's different, so just do what you feel like you have to do. But what I really like about this book is in the first few pages, it has it tells you all about the TEAS and stuff like that, but it also, all the sections you have to take, and then it even, hold on, let me show you. So like I was saying, it even breaks down the sections even further. Sorry, don't mind my nails, they're gross. But so you have reading, science, and English, the three main sections, but then each section breaks down more. So then you have like key ideas and details, crafts and structure, stuff like that. And then it tells you how much time you have to take like the whole section, and then how many questions it is. And so I kind of, if you're wondering like what this like writing is, I kind of just like broke it down on how much time I would have for each question, just so I knew. And so that's what these numbers are, sorry. And so as you can see, the science section has 47, and like that's a lot. But then you look and you're like, okay, human anatomy and physiology, and you're like, okay, 32 questions, and then life sciences and physical sciences is only 8 questions. So if you're limited on time, only focus on the sections that are most important. That's like one of my biggest tips, the ones that are going to have the most questions. So I also wanted to tell you, I know you could see it on the paper, but if you weren't paying attention, the total time you have for the ATI TEAS is 209 minutes. And then there's 150 scored items, but then there's 170 test items. So like 20 of the questions won't actually be scored, but that's still questions you have to answer, and that takes time. So I just wanted to like tell you guys that if you just didn't know. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible. So now after this part of the video, I'm just going to go into the studying. Feel free. What really helps me is I'll play like a YouTube video or something in the background of someone studying, and then whenever I'm not feeling motivated, I'll look up and see them studying, and I'll be like, okay, I have to keep going. I have to study. So this portion of the video is just going to be me studying. Feel free to turn off the volume. So I also wanted to take the time to show you guys my setup. So normally I'm sitting on the kitchen table or something, or sitting outside. Also, that's another tip I forgot to mention. Sitting outside can be a really good way to study. But anyways, so I always have the basics laying out. So I have my laptop, which I'll show you what's on there in a second. I have my little pencil pouch that has all my pencils, highlighters, pens. I have my anatomy book that we use in school. So this has all my notes that I found important while I was like actually in anatomy and studying. And then I have my anatomy notebook and then my TEAS book. So I wanted to take the time to show you this. So this is how I take my notes. So anything that I find important that I need to work on, I put right onto my Google Doc. Right now it's 16 pages. Like I said, I've been doing this about a month. When I started, like I said, like my tip, I started with the most important section, which I thought was anatomy. So I started with the anatomy. I went through all the systems. So I started with the nervous system and then wrote down all the stuff I found important. And then next I moved on to the endocrine system and then the lymphatic system. And that's just kind of how I went on. And then after I got down the science section, the one with the most questions next was math. So then I have a lot of notes on anatomy because obviously really important. But then I have the math section, and then I even broke it up into the sections that it has. So in the math section, there's a section on algebra, and then I wrote down the main stuff I need to memorize, and then measurement and data. I did this, and I found this helpful because obviously I had highlighted stuff in my book, but if I'm constantly having to go through and see what I highlighted, there's stuff in there that's highlighted that I just wanted to highlight to make sure I have it. And so it wasn't necessarily like dead important. So I put on here the main things that were important. Obviously, for this max session, I put a bunch of equations for area, perimeter, stuff like that. I don't know how I would do it, but if you find this helpful or you want to just see how I set it up, I'll try and like share this with you guys, only if you want it. Just comment down below if you want it, but I just found this to be helpful for me. Like I said, I already took anatomy, so my anatomy notes may not be very specific because some of the stuff I already knew, so I didn't find it important to write down. That's completely up to you. Another thing I wanted to show you before I started the video is kind of just how my book is organized. So like I said, it has different sections, and I just kind of wanted to show you. So the page that I'm looking at right now is the endocrine system. They really try and concise the information. So as you can see here, it gives a little intro about the things of the endocrine system, but then the most of the stuff it talks about is the hormones, which is the main part. And so if it's in this book and it's taking a lot of time to actually explain it, it's probably very important. one thing I forgot to mention before I started the video is, like I said, I do it for 2 hours, but I don't want to do just one subject for 2 hours. I like splitting it up. So for 1 hour, let's say I'll do anatomy, and then another hour I'll do like English. So this is kind of like another tip, and just like kind of a way that can make studying go faster and make you not get sick of the information. Honestly though, if studying 2 hours is kind of like nothing to me, if you're like me, you kind of get engrossed in the studying and the time goes by really, really fast. So it all just depends on the person. But yeah, today I worked on anatomy for the first hour and then English for the second hour. I focused on the muscular and the reproductive system. So I really hope this is helpful for you guys. This is my first video, so if it's really awkward, try not to judge. I did really like this. If you have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. I will answer all of them, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. I was thinking about doing kind of like a mini series of this, so I was thinking maybe do like a couple videos of me studying, and then taking a video of me doing practice tests and telling you guys how I did, and then obviously doing a big reveal when I actually do the test on how I did, and just things that I found helpful, things that I didn't find helpful. Like I said, I'm not taking it for a while, but if you're watching this past and all my other videos are already uploaded, then you can watch this video and see what I did to get the score that I got. But like I said, make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe, and this is really nice. I really hope I can get to know you guys and really get to connect with you guys. With coronavirus going around right now, I know everyone can be a little bit lonely. I know I am, and so this would be a nice way to meet new people and just communicate. So please make sure to comment, and I'll reply, and I just hope you guys have a really, really good day. Bye.